He represents those things that my mother wanted to see in me in terms of having a better life than she had.
You need inspirational leadership to bring together the diverse elements of our community to do better.
Too many of our young people hear from adults, you can't do it. You're not worth it. Why do you want to do something I didn't do? Or things like that. So much negativity. If you set the goals high, young people will work up to it. If you set it low, then they're going to work down to it. You know, it's kind of interesting. I've reflected on this a bit. Baltimore was going through a transition. You know, we are viewed as kind of an up-south city. During the time that I grew up, we had an amusement park here right in the northwest part of the city called Gwynn Oak Amusement Park that was segregated. Black kids couldn't go to it. But I really wasn't affected much by it because my parents made a decision to try to kind of keep me away from the horrors of segregation. Very fortunate to have, as I said, two parents, both college educated, always set a target for me, a goal of going to college. But I had both my church, Douglas Memorial Community Church, and I also had the Lancers Boys Club in high school. And it ended up that being in the Lancers Boys Club is one of the things that got me to Oriole Park today. One of the persons that I met in that club was David Rubenstein. So I met David back in 1964, and we have been friends since that time. So I guess it goes to show you, be nice to your friends or stay close to your high school friends. But he and I have worked on politics together. We worked in the government, and then he went his way with financial services industry, private equity. I did mine more in public service and then in higher education. But we stayed in touch with one another throughout that time. Well, I ran for office. You know, I had been the state's attorney, the DA, for 5 years. And I recognized in that time that we had never prosecuted a college graduate for a violent crime. So education really made the difference in people's lives. So I ran for mayor on a platform of making Baltimore known as the city that reads. And it was just my way of saying, let's all be committed to lifelong learning. So I tried to focus in on improving in the public schools, the library system, our community college, but also did a lot of work in community development. I guess one of the things I'm proudest of, well, there's two things. We created a program to encourage those who had dropped out of high school to go back and finish literacy programs. So we had an adult literacy program that got a national award from then President Bush. But physically, what people can see is public housing, that we actually tore down some old things that had become warehouses of poverty and created public housing that looks like the rest of the city. It's a neighborhood. So it really has made a difference in the quality of life. We'll also point to the fact that we have now, you know, two stadiums that attract people from around the world, and I can't take full credit for that, but it did occur during my administration. So one of the things that I learned is that partnerships are important. If you're going to make progress, can't do it by government alone, can't do it by business alone. It really does involve kind of a combination of the nonprofit sector, the for-profit, and government focused in the community. And so I learned a great deal about the importance of partnerships. And now, you know, I'm very fortunate to have a position as a minority owner of the Orioles. And what I've said to them is that, I can't get and won't get involved in who the players are, the major policy. I leave that's David Rubenstein's role. But I do know that Major League Baseball leadership in general has been concerned about the lack of real involvement from the African American community. We see our young kids playing in Little League and somewhat in schools, and then there's a real drop-off as adult participation. Adults are very involved with the National Football League, very involved with the NBA and the WNBA, but not quite as involved in Major League Baseball. So I figured maybe I'll work with some of the leadership at the Orioles and reaching out to the community to try to get more African American participation with the Orioles and hopefully Major League Baseball. The Orioles, as an organization, have demonstrated a strong commitment to the community, and this is just one example. They've adopted a middle school in Baltimore City, and they're doing things throughout the state. So I'm just so pleased that they could have the Annapolis All-Stars, these young people here today.
Roles like this is so impressive, so amazing. Most of these kids would never have an opportunity to be in this position, and for the Smokes to offer their hospitality like this is just amazing.
Man, it means a lot. It means a lot, definitely not just to the kids, but as you can see and look around, we have the fathers, the mothers, aunts, uncles. So not only are we doing something for the kids, we're also doing something for the families, for the city of Annapolis. Baseball is kind of almost a lost art in our community. So I hope this could be something that the kids can remember, grab baseball, and probably end up playing in the future for years to come.
Well, after leaving office as mayor, I was trying to decide what I would do, and I was very fortunate to get the opportunity to be the dean at the Howard University School of Law. And there, law students come in just for 3 years and then they're out. So I got to see the impact of our institution on the early careers of these young people. So I taught a class in election law and policy, and now I see some of my students in elective office all over the country. I see a lot of them involved in civil rights litigation. The bottom line is that I'm encouraged that some of the things that I'm doing are having an impact. In particular, I kind of am proud every day about Governor Wes Moore. He was an intern in my office. Twice he was an intern in my office when I was a mayor, and now to see him as a very progressive governor, it's something that just reminds me that you can have an impact if you reach back and try to bring folks along, and remember that people encourage me, and I want to encourage others.
Governor!
Hey, Governor! What's happening? How you doing? One of the important things that I've learned, both from the private side and the public side, is the need to get a close relationship with financial institutions. Access to capital is the key. Unfortunately, I'm not the banker. I don't have the checkbook that David Rubenstein has, but I think what I'm seeing now in the private sector is a willingness, more of a willingness to be involved with young entrepreneurs, particularly young African-American entrepreneurs, than I saw 20, 30 years ago. So in my position now, I've got, as president of the university, I've got a law school, I've got a business school, and even in our College of Arts and Sciences. So I would just say get your big idea, reach high, don't reach low, don't sell yourself short. When you hear the first no, that's just one step in the process. I think there are a lot of opportunities out here, and hopefully the athletic teams like the Orioles and the Ravens, with the kind of leadership that they have now, will afford opportunities for young people, particularly in the African American community, to have business opportunities.